Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and Kamala Harris might be dealing with some abandonment issues lately. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, please follow that address in the lower right-hand corner. It's youtube.com/@explainamerica. When you get there, hit subscribe, absolutely free. It really helps us out. Kamala Harris is running a campaign of smoke and mirrors. A fake candidate. I mean, she's a real candidate, but fake in everything about her. Everything about her is fake. The way she talks is fake. Her accents are fake. The policy ideas she claims to have are fake. The policy switches she claims are fake. Her interviews are scripted when she does them. Her answers are pre-practiced, pre-written drivel. She's a phony, and people see through it. And you're seeing more and more lifelong Democrat voters switching to Trump now. One such voter spoke to Fox News where he gave his reasons for voting for Trump, and I got to tell you guys, he nailed it. He nailed every single one of them. These were great talking points. Trump should use this guy on the campaign trail, especially in Pennsylvania. I want you to watch what he had to say here, and let me know what you think in the comments.
One voter already sold on the former president's message on Israel. He joins us now. Steve Rosenberg is a Democrat from Pennsylvania. He has told us that he plans to vote for President Trump this time around. Tell us why.
Well, Dana, as the president just said to me, and I spent a lot of time thinking about this, if you're a Jew, if you're pro-Israel, there's only one candidate here. Actions speak louder than words. Kamala Harris has surrounded herself with some of the worst Jew haters that there are. Mahar Bitar, Philip Gordon, Ilan Goldberg's got a nice name, but if you look at their records, they are pro-Iran. They are not pro-Israel. And to me, all the other issues that are on the table, whether you be climate-oriented, abortion-oriented, whatever your orientation is, if you are not focused on being a Jew and being pro-Israel right now, we are in the fight for our literal lives. Mm-hmm. And all those issues won't be there if we're dead in 4 years. Yeah, because they're trying to kill us.
Talk about an actual existential crisis, indeed. Here's Kamala Harris talking about her policy, kind of with some specifics on Israel-Gaza war.
We need to get this deal done. And we need to get it done immediately.
But in the way that we send weapons, in the way that we interact as their ally, are there specific policy changes?
One of the things that we have done that I am entirely supportive of is the pause that we've put on the 2,000-pound bombs. And so there is some leverage that we have had and used. But ultimately, the thing that is going to unlock everything else in that region is getting this deal done.
What do you make of that, Steve?
I don't know what deal she's talking about. If she's talking about the two-state delusion, as I call it, she's out of her mind, because that's been on the table since, 1948, and it's been rejected time and time again. In fact, Dana, because you're a student of this, Prime Minister Sharon pulled out of Gaza in 2005 and left them the most gorgeous possible region that they could have, the Dubai of Israel. And they immediately, the Palestinians immediately voted in Hamas to be their leadership. Then they dismantled Gaza and used the materials to dig tunnels back into Israel to kill Jews. So I don't know what deal she's referring to.
I think she might be referring to a hostage deal, although she didn't mention that 6 of the hostages were killed by gun right before they were going to be rescued.
Here's the deal on the table. Hamas, bring the hostages back. Let me
show you this and then get your take on it. So in 2020, this is call for number 2, Jewish voters in 2020 went Biden 69%, Trump 30%. In our poll from this week, who do you trust to do a better job on the Israel war? Harris was at 45%, Trump was at 52%. We appreciate you coming on to give your perspective, and I'm wondering if you have heard from other Jewish Americans in your community or throughout Pennsylvania that are thinking similarly to you.
Well, some have. Some are afraid to say that they're going to support Donald Trump for whatever the reasons are. And there are some that still say things like, I would never vote for a Republican. I would never vote for Donald Trump. They're worried about what happened on January 6th, which is insanity to me because they're not worried about what happens in the country every single day, which is 10 times worse than January 6th. And again, if you are a Jew and you are worried and not worried about your literal existence, then I don't know what else to tell you. This guy proved, President Trump proved that he stood with the Jews. He stood with the Israelis. I just came back from Israel, Dana. Every single Israeli that I met, and I know a lot of them, has said to me, please vote for Donald Trump. Please vote for Donald Trump. Every single solitary one.
What do you think of the reporting that I didn't see the full context. He might have said it in jest that he will, if he doesn't win, the Jews would be at fault.
Listen, there'd be a lot of people at fault.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Right.
President says, Trump says a lot of things, but I would ask you this question, Dana. You know, a lot of people like you, great reporters, often ask, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? I would phrase that question differently. Who is better off 4 years ago than they were today? And you know who is? The mullahs in Iran, the Chinese, the North Koreans. They're much better off. And I don't want to live in a world that the mullahs wake up happy every day. I don't want to wake up in a world that capitulates to Iran, who is the greatest sponsor of terror in the world. The Abraham Accords prove that there is a deal on the table, and that's through economic cooperation, through the great Sunni Arab countries. The next one to come in should be Saudi Arabia. Could you imagine the transformation that would happen with Israel and Saudi Arabia making a deal together?
I actually can't imagine it. I can't imagine it because I think it was going to happen. Hey, I'll tell you what, Steve, I'd love to stay in touch with you. And my greatest wish is that I would have been on your text thread when the pager started exploding, because I think that would have been some good content.
We could make that happen. Can I leave you with one last thing that I tell all my Jewish friends? There is no prize for being on the last train to Auschwitz.
No. Indeed. Thank you, Steve. Let's stay in touch.
Thank you, Dana.